I'm Kristen Noel, founder of the Intuitive Divorce, a coaching program created out of my experience having stood where you stand. I know you can divorce differently, be strategic, and still aligned with your intuition and heart. I know you can heal and get the results you want in your divorce. And I'm here with my fabulous team member and boundary badass, wise and wonderfully talented coaching partner, Jo Young, who has this beautiful way of calming us all and getting us back into our bodies. This is so important for mamas navigating the upheaval of divorce. As if divorce wasn't emotional enough, this week we get to throw in a highly contentious presidential election into the mix. Suffice it to say, that's a lot of noise at a very tender time. The issue we got into today in class is when collaboration goes awry. The mamas in our coaching program are dedicated to taking the best interests of their kids to heart, trying to put differences aside in order to make child-focused decisions. But it doesn't always work out as planned. Then what? I think one of the biggest fallacies regarding collaboration and conscious parenting is that in order to do so, you need to acquiesce to the manipulation or gaslighting or emotional abuse of your ex and be a doormat. Well, hell to the no on that one. And Jo, that is probably a good place to start. What do you think? Hell to the
Hell
no.
to the no.
I need a little hell to the no today. Oh my gosh. It was a good
Um,
class.
it was a really good class. And, I loved how we started class today with just recognizing that there's so many things swirling around, whether you're navigating divorce or whether you're just living in this human experience. There's a lot swirling all the time. And that the importance of knowing that we can bring ourselves back to a sense of calm and safety and all the things that we are craving in our lives, or quite frankly, you wouldn't be here. And so, we had the ability to be able to take these situations and move to a place of safety within them. And that's what we did with our mamas today, just by breathing together and really putting our feet on the ground and, giving permission to show up exactly where you are and knowing that in the moment you are safe. And it just set the tone for everything so beautifully. And 'cause I was always explaining to the mamas, when you're showing up and you're dysregulated and your brain literally doesn't function the way that you need it to work in order to make really crucial decisions and in order to navigate all the things that are going on. So it's such a beautiful way to start. I love that today.
It's so powerful, and I'm always so grateful to you for reminding us of that and really getting us back into that space, because literally it doesn't matter. Like I said, it could be a big thing like a divorce or a big contentious election or any slew of things. It could just be a triggering conversation. It could be a court date. It could be a million things. But when we can find ways to get back into our bodies and to regulate, then we can decide what the next step is after a deep breath, after some grounding. I mean, there are ways, like even if you can't, I mean, listen, in a perfect world, we'd like all go outside and ground in the grass and put our sun in, our faces in the sun and breathe. And we don't always have the opportunity to do that. But there are ways to get back into your body when you are sitting at the boardroom or you're at a dinner table and someone says something triggering. There are ways to just get back into our bodies to breathe. I always love the karate chop under the table on your hand, which is just tapping, EFT.
Yeah.
There are just ways to remind you of where you want to be and how you want to approach things. And it's like one of the things that was so gorgeous about class today. I mean, obviously in class, we have women that are in various stages, some that are literally, they haven't even had a conversation yet, telling their husbands they want to get a divorce. And then there are other people that are almost on the other end of the horizon where the ink's about to be, signed on the documents. But divorce is triggering. There's stuff that's going to come up. It's painful. There's grief. When something's not right with your kids, nothing's right with the world. There's all this stuff that's swirling around. But it is just this navigation of self-agency, really, right? It's just really like getting back into your body and putting yourself in the best position to make these tough decisions, to navigate tough conversations, to navigate difficult interactions, whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about, collaboration today. And the bottom line is we aren't coming from a collaborative space ourselves if we aren't
Mm-hmm.
in regulation and safety in our bodies first. I loved the fact that, we really talked a bit today about the different places and phases that each of our mamas are in.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so incredibly gorgeous is also what I've been really putting my focus and attention on in the world this week is that all of our feelings, all of the different phases that we go through, there's a place to normalize that. Like, I think as mamas in particular, we're so used to holding things together for everyone. We're so used to putting ourselves on the back burner so that my spouse has what he needs, my children have what they need, my boss has what he or she may need. We're so used to showing up last. And when we do that, we lose ourselves in that process. And so being able to normalize the feelings that are coming up, the fear that comes up.
Realizing what the cost is of not allowing the feelings to come up.
Yes.
Right. So that was the other thing.
Exactly
I wrote
where I
down.
was going.
Yeah. One of the things today was when one of the mamas said, and I think we can all relate to this, I don't want anyone else to feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like, oh, divorce isn't convenient this weekend because, everybody's coming for Thanksgiving, or, I don't want to be the one that like upsets the apple cart, or I don't want to be the one, and yeah, divorce isn't necessarily convenient.
No.
But
and the bottom line is you can always find a reason to continue to put yourself on the back burner. There's always going to be a holiday or a birthday or something. And I loved when she said, I don't want anybody else to be uncomfortable, because all of us coaches were like, made note of that right away. But
and we all can relate.
Interesting?
We can all relate.
Yes, we can all relate. But also, isn't it interesting that who's the most uncomfortable is you?
Mm-hmm.
And why are you the one taking the hit? Like, you deserve to be fulfilled and happy and all the things. And we went full circle on that. It was
the main thing is like, if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Because the truth is, you can only stuff it down for so long. You can only pretend for so long. And what your kids really want, and what you really want, is to just show up as you, happy, easeful, peaceful, authentic, you, not prepackaging, not making yourself palatable, for others, not just keeping the peace at what cost. So what we were talking about today, and the way this was sort of divinely timed, which was what happens when collaboration goes awry, which it often does. I've had lots of mamas coming up in sessions and saying, I'm done collaborating. I'm done. It's a very hard thing when you've got two people that are divorcing and they have to come together for the benefit of their children. And you have a responsibility as two parents to do that. And obviously the mamas in our group are like putting everybody's needs at the forefront. And they care about divorcing with integrity and with their intuition. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't want to be strategic and save time and money and heartache. It is actually really strategic to take care of yourself. It's strategic to get back in your body. It's strategic to stay calm. Because, we all know. You have like action reaction, you explode. There's a cost to that. There's a cost to having to clean up that mess. There's a cost to like not getting your emotions out in a healthy way. And that's what
absolutely. It comes out sideways.
It comes out sideways. It comes out sideways. So when collaboration goes awry, I always remind them that you can sit at a table for one. It's not like two wrongs don't make a right. So don't jump into that unhealthy dance again. If your ex doesn't want to collaborate, you do you, boo. I'm going to do me. And the reason I'm going to do me is because I want to show up in a way that I can feel really good about in this divorce. And I want to show up in a certain way for our kids because that's what I want to model to them. That doesn't mean it's easy. That doesn't mean I'm going to be a doormat. but it means that I'm going to consciously collaborate with myself on how I want to move through this, how I want to move through this divorce, how I want to move through tough conversations, how I want to move through the world, how I want to move through a divisive presidential election.
Yeah, it's so true. And I love that context of I'm going to collaborate with myself. And what does that actually look like? And what it doesn't look like is acquiescing. What it doesn't look like is not speaking your truth, not standing up for what you want, not giving yourself a voice. So to collaborate with yourself means really, how do I consider myself at least as much as everybody else in this equation? You know, that's the first step. What do I need? What do I want? How can I set boundaries in place regardless of what everybody else is doing? Because there are boundaries that feel good to me. You know, one of the mamas today was talking about that she's trying to have this collaborative process with her soon to be ex over childcare and who's going to take part and what feelings come up and who has what weekends and how that doesn't often stay in flow. And it's like, yeah, every single mama that we've ever dealt
Welcome
with
to divorce.
dealt with these things.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so how do you get what you need and set the boundaries that you need in order for you to be taken care of? It doesn't mean that the situation goes away, but it means I can now show up and ask for what it is that I need in the equation, which is so powerful.
And it's getting really clear, right? Because we workshopped with one mama in particular, and I really just kind of kept nudging her a little bit and then really just helping her get back into her lane, because it's so easy to get derailed and to get so focused and infuriated and upset and all the things about what somebody else is doing or not doing. But the bottom line is you don't control them anyway. So what is the cost to you for getting upset about that? Now, obviously, we got to feel those feelings, right? Because still, these are, you know, a woman that's, you know, going through divorce. Yeah. A woman that's going through divorce, it's going to take time to heal all of that. But harnessing the power of awareness about, oh yeah, okay, I see what's going on here. What other choice can I make for myself that's going to better serve me in this dance with my ex, in this co-parenting, in this collaboration? Even when it's gone awry, I will actually even sometimes say to mamas, what would it be like to just even like shoot off an email or communicate to your ex something that's not focused on the whole picture here, just focus on the kids. Like, hey, listen, I know we're not exactly where we want to be right now, but I'm really holding faith that we can get to the space where we can like cover for each other and that we can co-parent in a really conscious and collaborative way, as opposed to you're doing this and you're doing this and you're doing this. And again, this is not about being a doormat, but it's about staying in this one silo of how do we show up for our children and make the best child-focused decisions we can, because they deserve that.
We said today, pay attention, not to what you're fighting against, but what you're fighting
I love that.
for.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I just interrupted you. I'm sorry. Say it again. That was so good. So good. It was I got so excited.
Don't put your focus and attention on what you're fighting against. Know what you are fighting for. And every mama that shows up in our group is fighting for her children. First and foremost, I want my kids to be okay. We hear it all the time. And it's like, then you need to go and have your feelings and then show up and go, okay, now that I've gotten that out, now that I've made it safe, I can show up and go, okay, I'm fighting for my kids here. What's my best mode of communication? How can I now collaborate because I want what is best for my children? Which, what do we say today too? Like, the truth is what's best for our children is that we are fulfilled, that we are giving ourselves a voice, that we are considering ourselves. And that's how you do that, is you allow yourself to process what's going on and then show up and then make a decision then respond.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
also,
how collaboration happens.
and when you calm yourself, like when you can just like kind of step out of any, obviously when the house is not on fire, right? When you can step back for a moment and really think about something. I mean, we've all been there. It's like, someone sends you something and you want to send off a snarky remark. And it's like, you pause, you think about it, maybe you wait till the next day and it's like, oh, I'm glad I did not send that. You know what I mean? It's that giving that space to reconsider how I want to show up and what's the cost of me not showing up in that way. And if I can take care of myself, like you said, that is going to benefit my children. What they need is your presence and your peace and your ease and your happiness and your laughter. That's what they need. And I know that can feel like a tall order when you feel really vulnerable or you feel really afraid or you feel really uncertain. So the best thing that you can do is kind of gift yourself an ability and to like just start collecting new tools that are going to support you, that are going to put boundaries around you, that are going to nurture you so you can show up. This is hard. No one's going to say it's not hard.
Yeah. And you know what happens when you send off that snarky response? You end up feeling bad. You end up feeling guilty. And that just adds to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like a snowball. So you feel bad, and you make the other person feel bad, and then they send you something back, and then you have a response. I mean, listen, we've all been there. We've all been there. That is also, getting to know yourself, the power of discernment, the power of wisdom, the power of age, making a lot of mistakes.
Yes. And so like, how can you respond and then walk away and go, you know what? I'm really proud of myself for the way I just responded, because that's the win. And which is the other thing we talked about today is like really recognizing and celebrating all the wins along the way. Cause that's a huge win when you can literally just take care of yourself and come from a place of response and not reactivity. And the world needs that.
It's a lot.
The world needs that.
The world needs that. Well, listen, but the truth is, what can we do today when we're feeling so powerless? What we can do is decide who we are and how we are showing up. And whether that is, any myriad amount of circumstances, who are you in this divorce? Who are you as the mother of your children? And when you get to the other end of that divorce and you're looking back, telling the story of what you went through, who do you want to be in that story? Because you're writing that right now. And one of the other powerful things that we brought in, because mothers sidestep themselves all the time and they've got excuses why they can't do this or that or whatever. And when we ask them, okay, I hear you, whatever. What would you say if this was your daughter or this was your son and they were in this relationship? What would you want them to do?
Yeah. And that's always a powerful moment.
Yeah.
Always a powerful moment. And it's so true because our kids are watching and feeling everything we do. And so it's so powerful to put yourself in that position and go, I deserve to be treated just like I want my children to be treated. And I have to step up and do it first so that they know they're worthy of the same.
Yeah. It's
powerful moments.
Yeah, it was wonderful. As it is every week, we never know what's going to come up, but it was definitely a sacred container today and a place of powerful reflection and just the safety of being who you are, where you are, and letting what needs to come out, come out. And I'll just say this one last thing was this one mama who is very new to the process, was all up in her feelings, and just really feeling like she was coming unhinged. And actually, we just looked at her and said, good. You know what? That's healing. It's actually healing. You're ready. You can't live with this anymore. You can't stuff this down anymore. You are ready to go. You're ready to heal. You're ready to do something differently. And with love and compassion and strategy.
Yeah.
And I think that's
going to have a bright future ahead. That's for sure.
And I think that's a pretty
steps.
Darn good, way to go through life, divorce, whatever comes your way. So
That's
anyway,
right.
thank you, my sister. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, it was so good. And I'm glad that we got to spend that time together today in class. It's always honestly so incredibly moving.
Yeah, it's heart medicine.
It is. It's heart medicine.
Yeah,
And on that note, okay, Mama. So that's it for today. Joe and I are committed to popping in here each week right after class when all the wisdom nuggets are hot off the press and ready to share. And if there's something you're struggling with, leave a comment below and maybe we can dive into that topic too. You can learn more about our work over at intuitivedivorce.com and make sure that you're on our newsletter list. You can join from the website and check us out on Instagram at Intuitive Divorce. We send out lots of great info each week that will guide you through your divorce, dealing with your kids, your money, your emotions, and best yet, your healing. And if you're ready, you can also book a free strategy call with us. You don't have to do this alone.
no, and so be good to you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
being good to you is being good to your divorce, is being good to your kids, being good to your future.
that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Such a good
sweetheart.
day.